Zwei neu. Dann schauen wir mal. Bis zur Bola. Fuchs hatten wir, dann schauen wir mal ab hier.
Caribou it provided for us in many ways.
Our clothing in those days was made of all caribou skin.
I grew up wearing caribou pants, mittens, caribou skin mattress, blankets.
Some people had boots that were made with wolf leggings, sealskin sole bottoms. Baleen was shaved to make insoles. They kept us quite dry and warm as well. But the caribou skin clothing was the best. We would get as many yearlings as we could for our outer clothing. And for heavy winter, we would get caribou in February or March because the hair was the longest and the skin was the thickest, and we would use those for our winter gear. With that stuff on, you could sleep outside in 50 below and it wouldn't bother you a bit.
Tja. Ich friere mir schon bei 15 Grad plus den Allerwertesten ab. In der Arktis leben wäre nichts für mich.
Sila is the weather. It also means the atmosphere. Here's the nuna, or the land. And it's anything from the land into the moon, the sun, the stars. That's Sila.
It's a very spiritual, and we have a relationship with Sila. Sila has a soul in the same way we do as people, in the same way animals do.
I think spirit helpers in and of themselves are really about how we're connected with things. And so it may be that there is a spirit helper that shows themselves as a bird to show you the way home, or it may be a spirit helper that actually decides to show themselves with the face and body of a man instead of their animal form. And so I think one of the things that's hard to understand is that it's not one way of seeing things, it's one way of knowing you're connected to everything.
We've always had that spirituality of everything around us.
It's the interaction you have with the air you breathe, the ocean that you gather resources from, the rivers from which you gather fish, the tundra from which you pick berries, the animals that give themselves. It's all of that.
Ha, war sie bloß. War da bloß da.
In the winter, when we were traveling, we didn't build sod houses, we built snow houses. In Canada, they call them igloo, but here in Alaska, we call them apuyak. We'd do a day of travel, and then we'd make a apuyak. The next day, my father would set traps, spend the day there, rest the dogs, give them something to eat, and then the following day, we continued to the next place. We'd go to my dad's sister, who had a house at Dubarg. They had a small sod house over there. We didn't have to do anything. We just visit with them, and my dad and my sister were glad to see each other, and they'd talk away while us kids played outside or go to sleep. By the time we get back to our home, my father would leave us with our aunt or with my grandmother, and then he'd start on his trips and go check his trap line. We were not into 8 to 5 kind of time, you know. We're in a total different kind. We're in ecological time.
Okay, machen wir die 3 noch.
Drum is something that's common to all cultures in Alaska. All cultures have a drum that may have some stylistic differences or differences in the materials that it's made, but it's still in recognition of life and vitality. and the drum mirrors the heartbeat. And when you continue drumming soon, it will be in line with your heartbeat, because that's what it's supposed to be, the heartbeat of the community, and it symbolizes vitality. And it's the most tremendous feeling to be in a room and to have one long row of all the drummers and to have that feeling of unity, everyone beating in harmony, the drum beat in unison. It's the most beautiful feeling. And to know that you're connected, you're on the land that you are connected to. And even if you grew up outside of the community, that which is in you comes from this area. And it's the greatest feeling.
Was hat er denn da an der Kette? Bärenkrallen oder was?
Man, I went at it and look what happens. Oh.
Das kleine Volk, was ist denn das?
They're just like other people. They just happen to be very small and extremely strong.
These are stories that are common throughout Alaska. It's normally that people are in a size from your elbow to the tips of your fingers, and they possess superhuman strength. So they may be tiny, but they can carry a whole caribou.
And if you go up north and you talk to a number of the people in the community, they'll talk about having seen the little people.
There's a place at home that we know, but we don't profess it to anybody.
But it's not like the boogeyman.
They can be mischievous, they can be ornery, or they can be helpers.
And every now and then, we might have the opportunity to see them, especially if they want us to see them.
The fact that it's across Alaska really tells you something about our history and how we interacted with nature around us.
Gut, Alaska ist nicht unbedingt... Hola! Wieso zuckt das einmal? Ah.
The bola is what we call kilamitan. And the kilamitan is made out of braided sinew tied out to some heavy bone which you could twirl. In my case, we're catching ducks.
When we're out whaling, sometimes the ducks start flying. And they're good for duck hunting. You know, if you're a whaling crew, you can't make too much noise. So you can't use a shotgun for getting some duck soup handy, you know. So bola was a really handy weapon to use for catching ducks. You know, the ducks fly in, you throw it up and tangles up the bird, and down they go.
Tja, schlecht für den Vogel, gut für uns. Lecker essen, ne? Okay, dann zocken wir mal weiter.
We shall blutig.
2 Tage. Aha. Wo ist da ein Leck drin? Und schon wieder den nächsten freigeschaltet. Ist das hübsch? So einfache Grafik, so hübsch. So dieser Limbo-Effekt. Hm? Also müssen wir hier wieder Bora Bora. Aha. Das war zu spät, oder was? keine Bärenmahlzeit werden. Geh weg, bitte. Ah, das geht bestimmt kaputt, ja. Und nu? Convenient. Oder jetzt einfach warten. Passiert dann was? Oder nicht? Ah, auch die helfenden Geister warten einfach. Ist jetzt ein wenig zu übersinnlich für meinen Geschmack. Ach, und der Bär kommt auch noch hinterher. Und das reimt sich. Wieso ist der Fuchs vorgelaufen und gestorben? Kann mir das mal einer erklären?
Pisasa ko may akalo nanok, anak ko bit.
Ja, sind wir jetzt los?
Kakame nanok, likat jalay.
Machen wir mal glatt. Ich möchte nämlich Kaffee
The
trinken.
scariest I've ever been. I was 12 years old. We floated out on a piece of ice while we were duck hunting. It was a bluebird day, just clear blue skies. And there was 3 of us, myself, my brother, and my dad. Next thing you know, we see this dark shadow on the ice. We look and it goes behind us. So we all jumped up, startled, and my dad, he started running. We got back to the ridge there. The ice had fractured, cracked, and broke off, and we were floating away. We were drifting. It was close enough to where my dad would have made it. He stopped and he thought about throwing us across, and if one of us was on the other side, we would be split up. So he stopped, and he just so happened to have a cell phone on him. 911 didn't pick up. That's the worst feeling in the world right there. 911 did not pick up. So he left a message because they record their calls. Once he had relayed that information, his cell phone died. That was the scariest moment I've ever had in my life. We were floating away and I thought we were left for dead. He kept calm during this situation. He's bringing out everything positive in this case. You know, I'm crying, my brother's freaking out. It went from clear blue to dense fog. Within a couple hours, we heard the chopper flying around, so they must have gotten our message. We thought we were saved, and then the chopper sound went away. So we lit some of the sled on fire. It's plastic. We thought black smoke in the fog would create some kind of marker. Chopper pilot had mentioned when we got rescued, you could see a glow in the fog. And he slowed down there, and sure enough, as soon as he slowed down, we got within visual. That was definitely the scariest moment of my life, was floating away and not knowing what the outcome was going to be.
Ja, 1 der 7 Leben verbraucht, würde ich sagen.
We're very much aware of the climate change. And it's been for many years, even before climatologists were noticing this change, Inuit were already saying, Sila alangokto. Our climate is changing.
If the heat is going the way it is right now, for us it's going to be pretty bad. Different birds are coming, and they're coming earlier, and sometimes rain is more than what we want, because when there's more rain, we know it's going to melt the permafrost.
In my time as a young whaler, when I was 9 years old, we're hunting from ice that was about 25 feet thick. And there was giant icebergs already floating, coming by. That was the first signs of a changing climate. Ice that never broke before was now moving. Now, here it is 50 years later, we're hunting whale from ice that's 18 inches thick. There's no more thick ice.
It's creating a malfunction in our whaling season, is what it is. Actually, more than that, all seasons in general.
I think we are more scientists than more people will realize. We have more knowledge of those things than people will ever know.
Tja, ihr guckt euch das ja auch schon seit ein paar Jahrtausenden an, ne? Weiter geht's. Auf unserer Reise durch die Arktis. Oh. Reicht das? Oder macht er einen Smash, wenn ich dazwischen gehe? Oh. Foxy war mein. Nein, nicht zerquetschen. Mach doch Aua. Ach, er nur wieder.
Tapko tikisakak nannupsitranga. Asi piyumagilipiksuagai. Tikisakjort.
Falsche Mannequin gesteuert, ich will den Fuchs steuern. Hä? Ist das jetzt ein Hint oder was mit dem Fuchs da? Ein Hinweis? Was soll ich hier oben? Oh. Da geht's dann nur zweimal. Da oben darf man noch nicht mehr. Das ist doof gemacht, wenn ich das mal so sagen darf. Wenn das mal funktioniert und mal nicht, sowas hasse ich. Was? Ja. Was eine doofe Steuerung. Was ist das hier, meine Dead Zone, dass der alleine weiterlief? So. Tja, wenn er nicht da bleibt, der Doofe. Jetzt ist er sogar dran gekommen. Ja, wie kriegen wir jetzt den Bären da hinten eingesperrt? Ich mag nicht mehr. Können wir mal eine vernünftige Steuerung haben? Wieso springt der nach sonst wo, der doofe Fuchs? Da hoch, dann nach da, dann nach da, dann nochmal zurück. Geht doch. Schön. Was sollen wir jetzt hier machen mit dem Bär? Dankeschön. Toll. Jetzt soll hier trotzdem der Fuchs noch kommen? Und da gab es einen Checkpunkt. Ja, und dann? Was mache ich dann? Ich darf den ja noch nicht mal berühren, den Scheißbären. Dann bin ich ja schon tot. Tja. Wäre schön, wenn mir mal einer verraten könnte, was ich hier tun soll. So. Warten. Aha, ich hätte ihn aber lieber tot gemacht, den doofen Bären. Der kommt doch jetzt immer wieder. Jetzt wird's aber langsam nervig hier. Hallo? Ach, das war Kapitelende. Okay, ich denke schon. Läuft einfach nicht mehr. Verschluckt? Vom Whale? Die Geschichte kennen wir auch. Wer war das denn noch, der im Walbauch gelebt hat? Ui. Da war ich auch noch ein kleines Kind, als ich die Story gehört habe. Wir haben noch nichts Neues, dann spielen wir mal weiter. Jetzt kann ich schwimmen. Vorher war Wasser meiner tot. Jetzt bin ich hier klitschnass in der Arktis und das geht gut. Fox kann auch schwimmen. Hallo. Wieso habe ich den Mädchen und ihren Nanook nicht freigeschaltet?
In, Arctic Alaska, hunting is a really important part of life. It's not just about going and shooting something, it's about going and putting food on the table. But more importantly, subsistence hunting isn't just about the insular family unit, it's about feeding the whole community. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about subsistence hunting in Alaska is that people go out and they'll go get, fish, or they'll get a caribou, and they'll get, seals and whales, and one of the first things they'll do is they'll say, oh, I need to take this to the elders. This isn't just about one individual surviving or one family surviving, it's about the whole community.
We didn't just go out and kill and put in a freezer. It's like a ritual that I learned from my parents.
It's all about relationship. I don't know. I think there's a lot of camaraderie involved, and just being out on the land or being out on the ocean. It's like getting back in tune.
I'd rather be out there. To me, once I go out there, it's the world that I learn from.
Wieso habe ich den nicht freigeschaltet? Naja. Weiter schwimmen? Was soll ich jetzt damit machen? Komme ich nicht dran? Der kommt nicht dran. Oh, das ist wieder so, da soll ich nicht springen, dann funktioniert das auch nicht. Ich hasse es, wenn es irgendwie so kontextabhängig ist. So, was zur Hölle soll ich jetzt hier tun? Kommt man noch irgendwie kaputt machen. So. Cookie an, auf einmal geht's. So, Dann spring doch auch. Das ist doof. Jetzt ist der Fuchs daneben gesprungen, jetzt kommt er nicht mehr hinterher. Ah, Leute, das ist schon nicht so toll, irgendwie was ihr getrieben habt. So, dankeschön. War nur kaputt. Wird das jetzt hier irgendwie voller? Können wir jetzt hier irgendwo hintauchen oder was haben wir jetzt hier veranstaltet? Nö. Jetzt geht gar nichts mehr. Einmal im Wasser hat man ganz verloren.